Right, to discuss this a little further, we're now joined by the Commissioner Andre Gaum from the South African Human Rights Commission. Advocate Gaum, thanks very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to join you.
All right, so why in 2021 do we still debate having pit latrines at high schools? I thought the deadline for that was 2016.
Exactly. So the picture you have is much, much worse than what we have. And that is in the area that in the Eastern Cape, 2,435 schools have no sanitation or are primarily reliant on pit latrines as their main ablution facilities. These schools serve a total of 717,000 learners and 27,000 more than that teachers. In the Free State, there are 10 Free State schools that do not have any source of water, and in KwaZulu-Natal, 1,078 schools use pit latrines, and in Limpopo, 127 schools which either have no water or are primarily reliant on pit latrines. So the situation, according to us, is much worse than you are actually stating. We have written to all the MECs to provide, pertinent information about every school in the province in terms of the source of water and the type of sanitation, and what we've received is really very concerning. And therefore, the South African Human Rights Commission is now considering the next appropriate action to take. We have written to all the MECs, and we have actually put to them letters of demand to get the additional information, and then also to consider what additional action we need to take.
So what additional action might you be able to take?
Yes, it would include, inter alia, subpoenaing the MECs. That is one option. And the second one is actually going to court, applying for a structural interdict. We have had quite some difficulty in terms of getting MECs to work with us in providing the necessary information, which is quite concerning. And the South African Human Rights Commission is really at the point of putting this whole matter now to the next step in terms of taking the appropriate action required. If that means subpoenaing the MECs, that's fine, or otherwise to take them actually to court in terms of a structural interdict, similar to what the Section 27 has done in the case of Limpopo. The point is that what we have been told over some time is clearly not the truth. The position is dismal. More than 1 million learners in our country are subjected to not having sanitation and water at all. And so the Commission is in the position that it simply has to take action at this point in time.
What are the authorities been telling you about why the delay and why the extension?
That is one of the concerns. We've met. This has been developing over some time. At some point in time, even the National Department of Education has told us that there is no school in this country without at least a water tank or water tanks, as well as, sorry, my daughter is interrupting me as she's 5 years old. But That's how it goes in these COVID times. So there is no school in this time, they told us, without at least water tanks and temporary functioning sanitation facilities. That turned out not to be the case in terms of our inquiries to the provinces, which is of great concern because that means that most probably the provinces are not giving the proper feedback, or the districts in the provinces, to National Department of Basic Education.
All right. Where is this all?
Therefore,
Where is all of this going wrong? Because I don't want to believe that South Africa has no money. It just seems to me that this isn't a priority.
well, I suppose it is priority, but somewhere things are desperately going wrong. And in terms of what the department, their feedback, that is clearly not the case. That is clearly not correct. So therefore, we opted actually writing to the provinces and to the provincial MECs in particular. In some instances, we got feedback from other sources. We take it that the provincial departments got outside sources to investigate the issues, and then gave feedback to us. That's why we need confirmation from the MSCs as to this information. And most surely, on the basis of confirmed information, we will take further action. We are really at the point now where it is completely and utterly unacceptable that there is any school in this nation without, at the least, the basic forms acceptable concerning water and sanitation.
Okay, Advocate Gaum,
we are in COVID-19 times.
We're running out of time, and there's a couple of questions I need to ask you. One of them is, take us back to when you were Deputy Minister of Education and MEC for Education. What were some of the challenges that you faced in trying to get the pit latrines eradicated?
Yes, well, I was in the fortunate position that I was MEC for Education in the Western Cape, where that hasn't been and still is not, that much of a problem. At the national level, obviously, it was more of a problem, but I was only there for a couple of months under former president of the country, Kgalema Motlanthe. But the point is that it appears that what is being told to the nation and what is really the situation at ground level is very different.
So they're lying to people. Yeah. They're lying, aren't they? That's what you're saying.
It appears to us that even to the National Department of Education and Minister Andrew Motshekga and so on, lies are being told. That I'm not saying the provinces are lying to the minister, but what I am saying is that the feedback from grassroots level is not correct. According to our information that we actually got directly from the provinces, the situation is that more than 1 million learners in this country is subjected to pit latrines or worse.
All right. So who do we point the finger to? Because we talk about the Department of Sanitation. They have to provide sewage services, reticulation services. Without those, you can't have proper toilets. So Department of Education may want to put these toilets in, but if there's no sewage system or reticulation services, what can they do?
In terms of a very important Eastern Cape judgment of where equal education was involved within one of the high courts there, it is quite clear that the buck stops with the education department, not with public works and so on, but with the education department. And therefore, the important matter here is that they need to make sure that there is proper infrastructure in terms of education in the country, and that is where the responsibility lies.
All right, Advocate Andre Gaum, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you so much indeed for joining us, and let's hope that the truth is found out and something is done, because 24 years later, it's just not good enough, I guess. Thank you so much.
All best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.